that have been presented to them and vote on September 25th and vote no. All citizens of the state of Iowa need to take a stand on this type of issue to ensure private property rights through which the eminent domain bill was designed. Thanks.
Is your last name with 1B or 2B?
We'll end with a final announcement, and then Representative Fallon will wrap things up.
I'm Lori Kirk, Lorikirk. After being part of a group of landowners from Madison County that spent countless hours at the 2006 legislative session working to strengthen the eminent domain bill, and then the veto, and finally the override, it became very clear to us that people across the state feel strongly about property rights and the need to stop big money from abusing the use of eminent domain. Being personally affected by the threat of eminent domain has given us the ambition and drive to push forward in starting a grassroots organization for all Iowans to come together and combine efforts to protect our property. In June, I attended a conference by the Institute of Justice in Washington, D.C. on eminent domain to learn more about grassroots organizations and how to start an organization. We are in the initial stages of forming Iowans for Property Rights and are working on organizing a meeting for later this fall. This organization will bring all Iowans together and to give them information on our rights as property owners and a contact to federal organizations that specialize in this issue. No one is safe. It could happen to you, your children, your grandchildren. It is time for us all to put our forces together. Our message is simple. Our land is not for sale.
So where do you live in Madison County? Where in Madison County?
Hero.
Well, I really want to thank everyone for coming. This is, some of you have traveled a good distance too. This is a significant issue. Obviously, it's been one that garnered a lot of attention last year. And I think it's really important to know that this is the tip of the iceberg. There are hundreds and hundreds of Iowans in every part of the state that care deeply about this issue. Not all are Republicans. Some of us are Democrats. Not all are rural. In fact, one of the most egregious examples of the abuse of eminent domain came to my attention after we passed the bill. And if I'd known about this, I think we might have been able to do something about it. Situation in Burlington, Iowa, where 400 low-income people were evicted from their homes and their homes bulldozed in order to build a strip mall proposed by an out-of-state developer. It's gotten out of hand. And the bill we passed last year, I think, was pretty clear, not just in terms of the language itself, but in terms of the intent. The intent is that people should have their property protected from incursion by government when it is for a private use. And I'll be the first to say that I support the legitimate use of eminent domain. I've seen eminent domain used in my old neighborhood, where we had an absentee landowner held about 22 properties, and he never kept them up, never did anything with them. Well, that was a great use of eminent domain. We finally got those lots back into the hands of somebody who actually lived in the community and wanted to do something with them. I have no trouble with that. What I have trouble with is government coming in and taking someone's property, whether it be rural or urban, for a development purpose that is going to benefit somebody else at the expense of those people. That to me is the big concern. And what seems to me has to happen is you've got a situation where corporations are very, very powerful business interests are now working with government in this kind of unholy alliance to begin to exercise broader and broader authority in ways that we never saw happening years ago. And I'm thrilled that the last vote I took as a legislator was on assuring that we did as much as possible to protect people in that circumstance. I'm a little disturbed that given the situation in Clarke County, my former colleagues may have to come back next year and try to fix that law to make it perfectly clear that what's happening is inappropriate. Again, it's hard to say because this thing is still rolling along and we're not quite sure where it's going to go, but the fact that people beyond Clarke County are here and beyond and more here from other parts of the state are supporting this effort, to me is very encouraging. And I want to make it clear, it's not just Republican. There are Democrats as well who care deeply about this. I know some of the folks here in the audience are Democrats. And I also know there are other legislators, Democrats as well as Republicans, who care about this. And again, it is rural and it is also urban. So again, my hat is off to the folks who've come and have worked so hard. I mean, this is just one little thing you've done. You've done so much over the years. I know the Robbins family has been very involved for a long time. They've done so much to try to make sure that that they not only defend themselves, but that they've been a tool for helping others who want to understand what they can do in their communities. I know the same is true with Brian and Kristen and Lori, and so many of these folks have worked so hard. So again, I'm happy to add my voice to this chorus, and I hope that the legislature continues to do the right thing on this. I hope the public continues to be with us, as I know they are, and I believe they will be. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for including me in this opportunity.
Any of us would be glad to take some questions if you have some.
So you need to tighten the law.
Among many things, in my opinion, right? And the tightening could happen in the flexibility that the agencies have in determining water needs. There's clearly a problem here, both the federal and the state level.
What is, there was some talk about this being a prolonged court battle if this goes forward. What do you think should be of more interest to folks? The need to tighten the law, or the fact that this could be, lawsuit city for years and years if this continues?
Well, if this is the people's house, it should be a fix in 2007 or 2008 session. People are overwhelmingly behind this. This is the tip of the iceberg, like Ed said. This can be fixed pretty readily in a fairly easy fashion if we don't play games and if we take some votes on tightening this law.
So are you saying that the law that was passed last year was flawed in a way where people are accurately and successfully exploiting it, or are you saying that it's being misinterpreted by local officials and it needs to be fought in court?
I think both. I think there's misinterpretation going on in Clarke County. I also believe that, to be honest with you, some knowledgeable lawyers have found some loopholes that clearly go against the intent and the spirit of that law, and we have to tighten it up.
How do you fix it?
Several ways, I think. First of all, I think you tighten up the flexibility that that planners have in terms of determining water usage versus recreational usage. There's a lot of other things that could be done. For instance, I think when the DNR right now has the ability to condemn land, there's been talk in some of these Clarke County meetings that the DNR could then go ahead and condemn for recreational purposes. I would propose that we curb the ability of the DNR to condemn. I would also propose that if the state ever takes any land, it requires a governor's signature to do that. That puts us on an accountability level that I think people are comfortable with. I think these folks shouldn't have to spend $5,000 to $10,000 to $25,000 to try to keep something that they never wanted to sell. I think there should be some help, some legal help in there when the state comes in with bottomless pit of dollars. I think these citizens deserve some legal help in order to at least have a fighting chance to bring up their case. Those are just a few. There are a whole lot of other things that we could do to this bill. These are ones that pertain to this particular loophole.
It's not the majority party power besides Republicans.
This came up. That's okay. This came up about 2 weeks ago. The majority leader, I believe, on Radio Iowa was quoted as saying, if there is a problem with the current eminent domain law, then let's fix it. I'm going to take him at his word. I hope we'll fix it.
I just want to add a little bit about open meetings too, because it's relevant to this topic. Because a lot of these lake commissions, reservoir commissions, airport authorities they're subject to the open meetings law. But there's some things that need to be tightened up there too. And a lot of those groups are meeting in the morning or the middle of the afternoon when a lot of these people are at work and cannot go. So I think the legislature needs to look at requiring a certain amount of meetings at a different time of day, maybe a certain percentage of those meetings in the evening, so that they're more open to the public. As well as making sure they have handouts available for everyone that's in attendance from the public. As well as some better notice. And I'm sure the majority party is interested in working on open meetings, but sometimes the posting of the notice 24 hours ahead is in a different place than it was the month before, and it really needs some work, and something that I'm sure we can work on together.
Can you make them require them to post their minutes or in the paper, in the newspapers? Readjust that kind of?
Well, there's already a requirement for
even the commissions?
Pardon me?
Even the commissions like this?
I believe so.